Joining me for some comment and analysis is William Perraudin, Chair of Finance at Imperial College, London. Thanks so much for coming in, William. So, how much change is this going to bring about for the financial industry?
It's obviously a shock to bankers always to have to increase their capital. I think that overall it's a bit disappointing that the total capital levels have not gone up, that they're still at 8%. So this set of measures that's been announced, which has been well trailed over the last year or more, really constitutes an improvement in the quality of capital, in that the part of the capital, a larger part of it now has to be conventional equity rather than revaluation reserves and subordinated debt, things like that.
And that's a good thing, right? Because a better quality of capital means safer banks.
It's a good thing, certainly. I mean, it's not. I mean, whether it would actually have prevented the crisis we've just lived through, I'm not quite so sure. So that's really the concern that I have.
Well, what's the point of it then?
I mean, if you have capital that's comprised of genuine equity, then if a bank actually fails, there is more, or there's a greater buffer to protect the authorities if a bank actually fails.
The idea is to prevent any future bailouts of banks,
yes, to reduce the cost for the authorities of bailouts.
What do you make of the argument that tougher capital standards could mean less lending to businesses and individuals, which could cut economic growth and therefore jobs?
Well, I mean, the banks have understood for a while that there was likely increases in capital, so I think they've been discounting that in their behaviour. There's a lot of argy-bargy between banks and governments right now in lots of countries about the level of lending to small and medium enterprises. You know, on the one hand, the enterprises are obviously being very cautious about borrowing, but I think a lot of anecdotal evidence suggests that in many countries it really is a problem with banks continuing to ration their
So
lending.
You're saying it will hurt lending?
I don't think it will exacerbate the situation we're currently in, because, as I say, the banks have fully understood that capital was that there was that there would be pressure on them to increase their capital. So I don't think that it'll worsen things from where we currently are.
And how do you think that UK and US banks will fare in comparison to their European counterparts?
Well, some of the European banks will be rather relieved that they're not being obliged to push up their overall capital levels. So I think the UK and the US banks are relatively well capitalised. They've had a lot of pressure on them by their national regulators. So I think they're in a reasonably good position. More broadly, I think it would have been better for the financial system if, as I said before, if there had been a uniform rise in overall capital levels.
Okay, well, thank you very much, William Perraudin, for putting all that into perspective for us, Chair of Finance at Imperial College, London. Thank you.